Hey guys, it's Yarly G. Today I'm going to be talking about partnerships, whether that's an LLC or a trademark that you're thinking about partnering with someone else or there's someone else involved. And it doesn't have to be one other person. A partnership can involve 3 people, 4 people. Let's take a look at some of the pluses and minuses to why you could do or should do a partnership and why you shouldn't. First plus is that you guys split a lot of things. Amongst those are the taxes. So if this company that you're creating ends up making tons of money, you will not be responsible to pay the taxes on all that money. You would be equally splitting the taxes, unless you guys have a weird structure where this person owns this much of the company. But let's look at the scenario where it's simple, everybody equally splits. You would equally split the taxes as well. You will all be liable for all the headaches and any losses that come about. So any lawsuits, any dealing, anybody tripping, you guys should equally be splitting that headache amongst each other. Not one person is getting the migraine over the other. You are also entitled to equal split of the profit minus the expenses that were made. Whatever profit is made is equally split amongst the parties that are part of this partnership. And there is more brain power, right? You heard of the saying that 2 heads are better than 1. So when you have a couple people that's part of a company that helps make the decision, sometimes that is better. It benefits because one person sees the negative side of one decision that the other person can't see. And mutually you come together with the 3, 4, or even 2 people that you are partnered with to make a much better decision. That is definitely a huge advantage over you're stressing out by yourself, thinking about all the decisions that you need to make. There's a lot of experiences that come together to help make the best decision for the company to move forward. Now let's take a look at some of the minuses that you can have with having partnership with at least one other person. You are making less money, yes, because you have to split the profits. If the company made $1,000 in pure profits and there are 2 people involved, you would each have to split that $1,000, and that's minus expenses. This is pure profit. This is money made minus the investments that were put in. So if that $1,000 was what was made, then 500 would go amongst 2 people. If it was 4 people, it would be $250 each. The next negative is, you know how they say majority rules, where that can backtrade against you, because if you have 3 people involved and 2 of you agree on something but one person doesn't, the 2 people that made that decision to do certain things would be the ones that get their way. And there's a likelihood that one person or 2 people might be putting more effort than the other. Just because you want to move forward and move at 100 miles per hour does not mean you can predict that your partner will move at that same speed with you. Sometimes it's very hard to predict how people will behave and react in the long run. So it's very good that you analyze who you're partnering with. And the drawback to that is that if you're all not putting the same efforts, one is putting more than the other, you still have to split the profits equally, assuming that you guys did an equal ownership of the company. And the last negative is that just because you put your money forward, you may putting more effort. As similar to the previous example that I just explained, you're not going to enjoy the full benefits as it should be. So let's say you spend $1,000 on advertising for this company, right? And in return, this $1,000 that you put in brought in $5,500 in revenue, right? So in profit terms, we're looking at $1,000 investment against a $5,500 in revenue. So really is $4,500 in pure profits. Let's assume that you have 3 partners. That money will be split 3 ways. It wouldn't be as if, since I'm the only one out of the 3 partners that put in the original investment of $1,000, I deserve to get 100% back of the profit. It doesn't work like that, and there goes the disadvantage. If you were a single person, the more money you put in, the more you get back, and it only comes to you. But because you have partners, if you're the only one investing, you still have to equally split the profits. So that's another thing that can really frustrate you if you're thinking about having partners for your company. There are plenty more pluses and minuses to doing partnerships. However, from my experience, I found that it's better not to do the partnership, because you have to think about it as a marriage, right? You're married to this person for as long as this company is up and running. So if you're not ready to make that commitment, then don't do it. So you really have to know the person. It's kind of like dating someone before you actually make that full lifetime commitment with them. So it's the same way you have to treat this partnership. You have to think about it as a marriage. Do you want to get married to this person for as long as this company takes to evolve and deal with all the hassles and all the different minuses and headaches that comes along with that? We're humans, we make mistakes. You have no way of predicting someone's pattern. So that's why I think it's better. I have done it, but I find that it's better to not do the partnership. This is the alternative that I think is the better approach. What it's called is contract servicing. So with contract servicing, you can either pay someone. That's always the easiest way. It's kind of like what they call one-time labor, and you just pay them for this and you don't have to worry about anything else. They don't own a piece of anything. The other way you can do it is you do give them a piece of the profits. It's still a contract service, but you pay them out in the profits term. It's kind of like how companies treat stocks. Like, you don't really own the company, but you get a share of the company, a share of the revenue that comes in through the stocks making more and more money. You get to make part of the decisions and such, but you never really own the company, and you're never married to it for life. You can always get in and out. You have to think about it that way. It could be a much better and easier alternative. If you got the money, great, but if you don't have the money, this is a way that you don't have to pay anyone up front, and as much effort they put in is as much as they get back, or whatever you guys agree to. Sometimes many people don't go with that route because they don't find people that are willing to do that and willing to invest. If you see a company that's very viable and they're trying to get off the ground and you believe in them, and this is for someone out there who is approached in that sense, I would say definitely go for it, because you never know where a company might take off at. And it has to be something that you find that you are interested in and you think is going to be great in the future and going to bring you back a return. So really, it's an investment of your time. Time is something you cannot get back, but if it translates to money, hey, why not? So you have to think about it that way. At the end of the day, it's a decision that's totally for you. You don't have to be pressured to do it. If you find that you want to do it, just really give it some thoughts. It's really up to you. There are plenty of partnerships out there that has worked, especially with law firms. I'm sure they have a lot of good written contract and stipulations in there to ensure that no one is getting jacked up anywhere else. So if you're out there starting your company, definitely go for it. Go ahead and get it going. And before you make it very complicated for yourself, just give these some thoughts. I'll see you guys next time. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Drop a comment if you can. Let me know your thoughts. Anything you'd like to share or want to talk about, please let me know below.